Hey, it's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Cyborg Santa figure from FreshMonkeyFiction.com's Naughty or Nice collection. They got him listed as naughty, and so I don't know. We're going to have to see, because, you don't want to judge a book by its cover, and if you look at the Terminator in the first movie, he's obviously the bad guy. In the second movie, it's questionable whether or not he could go either way. So, let's get this figure free from its plastic prison and see which side we think it falls on. So here's Cyborg Santa in his packaging, and it looks amazing. This packaging was so well done, and I think if you're a mock collector, again, this is going to go really well with any of your Christmas decor, and I think that's awesome that you have that option. But they don't call this channel Easy Opens just because we like to look at things in the box, or we like to open things. So let's go ahead and get this figure free. So here's Cyborg Santa. This thing looks cold and evil, and I love it. I don't know, maybe it's just the 90s kid in me, but it's definitely giving Terminator vibes, and maybe even some Stone Cold Steve Austin for some reason. Like, I don't know, maybe he had a shirt. I think he had a shirt that had the metal skull on it or something. There's some line of symmetry there that I can't put my finger on, but nevertheless, it's definitely giving me that feeling of like, wow, this thing's either going to give me a thumbs up or it's going to stun me, one way or the other. One way or the other, I'm going to be happy and enjoy it all the way. So anyway, this figure stands at about a little over 6.5 inches and is more than likely going to be able to fit in with any of your 1/12 scale 6-inch action figures. Again, this figure does have some heft to him, much like Krampus did, and that's awesome. He feels like he should, and I'm a huge fan of that. And then again, just like Krampus, and you're probably going to hear me say that again a lot because they share a lot of the same parts, if not most of the same parts. He can also hold a 1-foot pose even on a turntable, as well as do the Van Damme splits, which is awesome. Who knew limber Santas were a thing? I mean, it makes sense now that I've said it 2 times, but still, I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a thing. I never thought about it, but here we are. The more you know. Well, moving on to paint and sculpt. So this thing looks fantastic. The contrast between the red and the white, like the red suit and pants, and then the white fur that goes along the collar and down the front and along the bottom, and then the wrists, it looks fantastic. The boots and the belt and buckles, they all just, like, the contrast there pops, like everything just pops on this figure, and he just demands your attention, and I'm a huge fan of that. His yellow and red eyes are even more piercing than Krampus's are. Krampus's are a little bit smaller. His Cyborg Santas are bigger and are frightening. And the metal teeth through the beard and mustache is very eerie, and it gives me a little bit of a They Live vibe, like the aliens from They Live, like just the teeth. I don't know, something about that is triggering me here a little bit, but looks fantastic. Now, as I mentioned, the sculpt on these figures mostly use the same body buck as all the other Santas in the line, at least in wave 1 that I'm aware of. All the detail in the folds in the suit and pants and the shading and everything just really make this figure come to life. And given that they reuse the body, arms, and legs, the head sculpt and hands get most of the detail, and again, they look fantastic. The metal on the head just it shines, and it's like a dull kind of shine, and it just looks so good. And then the hands have a lot more detail than I thought they would, and just they look like detailed cyborg robot hands. And again, with the beard, just like on Krampus, it does kind of hinder a little bit of the articulation, the head movement, just a bit, but that's to be expected with any figure with a beard, pretty much. So let's talk about some accessories. Cyborg Santa comes with a list of names, a red box with a green ribbon, a red stocking, a white naughty or nice figure stand, a shotgun, and a half human Santa and half cyborg Santa head. Now, out of both heads, I think I prefer the full cyborg head. It just looks so freaky and menacing that I don't know, that's just my preferred one. Now, the half human Santa, half cyborg Santa head looks good, but the smile, the smirk on his face with the red eye, I mean, it's all well done, but it just doesn't have what I'm looking for in Cyborg Santa. But I'm glad that I have this option. As always, I'm all about, more options with action figures. So I'm glad they included it, but I think my default head is going to be the full Cyborg head. Now, the next question is, do you keep the hat on? Well, two questions actually. Do you keep the hat on or off? And which side do you have it on? Do you have it on left or right? Let me know in the comments below which way you prefer. All right, so let's move on to some articulation. Okay, so now let's take a look and see how he measures up to some other figures you may have in your collection. Here he is with Jazzware's Fortnite Slushy Soldier and Crackshot. Here he is next to Diamond Select's Immortal Hulk and Marvel Legends Wolverine. Here he is next to the Masters of the Universe Classics King Grayskull figure and World of Nintendo's 4-inch Ludwig von Koopa. Here he is next to Storm Collectibles' Baraka and Hasbro's Transformers Red Megatron. Here he is next to NECA's video game Slash and Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection Cog. Here he is next to Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classified Alley Viper and SH Figuarts Masked Rider G3X. And here he is next to McFarlane's Death Metal Bat Cycle. Alright, so final thoughts. Again, I was so excited to get these, couldn't wait to get them open, and I have not stopped enjoying playing with these figures and just looking at them ever since. Another thing that's very similar with my Krampus review is that the main reason for getting him was to mostly display with my Fortnite Christmas themed characters, Slushy Soldier and Crackshot, again, which he looks great with. And also because a Santa Claus, regardless of which version, can go with pretty much any toy line you have, because arguably in that fictional universe, chances are there is a Santa in some form or fashion, be it in some weird obscure anime or just Marvel Legends. You've got a Santa or a story about a Santa in that fiction, and so you can have whichever Santa you want in there. And I thought it would be great to have Krampus or Cyborg Santa, so that's why I got these two. And again, there's still something inherently magical about this version, and so far every version of Santa Claus that I've now owned as an action figure. And again, I don't know if that's just me putting that on it or if it's inherent to the figure or the character in general, but so far, I mean, I can't, that's just how it feels. I don't know. And that probably sounds weird, but I don't know. I like it. And with all that being said, Fresh Monkey Fiction did another fantastic job with Cyborg Santa. He looks and feels awesome. He's fun to play with and just admire on the shelf. The only nitpicks I have are I wish he would come with more hands to do more things. And I don't know necessarily what, it's just that's a general thing with most action figures, is that I wish they had more hands. But this one in particular, the right hand is designed to hold the shotgun, and it fits in the fingers like it's supposed to, but it doesn't have the support of the thumb part of the hand, like on the back of it, so it can kind of come loose when you're posing the figure, and that kind of can cause some problems. It's a minor nitpick, but it could have been better in my opinion. And then if you're gonna have a figure that has a weapon that you can hold with two hands, like most people generally have a shotgun, you can hold it with both hands, one to cock it and then shoot, it's a big gun. So I would love to have had it to where Santa could hold it with two hands, and you can get him to do this. And I don't know, your mileage may vary. You might be able to get him in a better pose than I was able to, but it's the closest I could get him to do it. It worked, but just not well, or not as good as I would have liked for it to. Now, again, minor nitpick, but that's about it. Otherwise, I've enjoyed this figure so much and am very tempted to get more of them. So if you're into Cyborg figures, if you're into just general Santa Claus figures, then you definitely need to add Cyborg Santa to your Christmas list, or birthday list, or really just any list. Just put him on your grocery list, actually, and that just make sure you get this figure, because I think he's awesome. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, please hit that like button, and if you really liked what you saw, please hit that subscribe button as well. And if you agree with me or disagree, if I was loud and wrong, which side of the head do you put the ball of the cap that he comes with? Which head do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. I really want to know your thoughts. And if for some reason, if you want to see or hear more from me, be sure to check out my other YouTube channel / podcast, Turtle Soup, where we talk about the Ninja Turtles a lot. So be sure to do that. And yeah, that's going to do it for me today. Elsetime.